500 miles, it doesn't shift. My ZS never did this.
Yeah. Why we should just put the ZS back in, bro?
Dude, you know how much work we'd have to do to make that happen?
No, we just literally have to have 2 mounts of it and roll it off.
That's true.
Ow. Something's sharp that shouldn't be. This is the actual shifter. Oh yeah. Right there. Shouldn't have split the fucking case.
We just had to take off one side, huh?
Yeah.
And we started on this side.
Yep. But there's your problem. I would probably get this too.
Hey, what's going on? Welcome back, guys. This is episode 3 of MOTO-VATION. On this episode, we run into a couple quick little issues. We get them resolved and Sean complains as normal. I get some time alone without Sean to get a bunch of work done, and I show you guys how to replace the shift shaft that got damaged. I give you a few tips on that to make it a lot easier if you ever run into that situation. So let's get right into the episode. I was just blowing smoke for you.
Yeah, well, I know the story of the girl who cried a river and drowned the whole world.
When she smiles.
Jamie's got a gun.
It's very important.
You can call me for any of your headlight tail light wiring needs. I'm an OG with wiring, bro.
Where is my 19mm socket? Dude, this is gonna take like 8 years.
Okay, hold on. It was on the impact at one point. You took it off the impact. Why does it smell like burp over here? You burp over here?
I could probably. Find it, Sean.
I am. Hold on.
Try looking over here with all the wiring and stuff. Don't rub me. Stop rubbing me. Look around here.
Stop rubbing me.
Stop rubbing me.
I don't like human contact, man. It's weird.
When Jamie smiles.
I'm just gonna say everything was fine around here until Adam came over. And then he needed a nice 19 to bring to work and just
Get right. Did you hear that, Adam? He's saying you stole my 19mm.
You are quite questionable.
Questionable. I don't trust that guy more anyway.
I know, I'm kidding, dude. Come on.
Wow.
Okay, what color is it?
What color is it?
Yeah.
Chrome.
It is, well, because you got black ones too. It looks just like this.
Looks just like that 17, but a 19. It's this color. It says Snap-on on it, then it says 19mm.
Keep it up, bitch. Keep it up.
Look underneath the actual lift, like underneath the little areas. Ow!
Every time. I think you just like whacking yourself.
Totally. How'd you know? The axle will not come out.
The bearing?
Yeah, probably. Ooh, baby, I love your way every day. Yeah, yeah.
Pat makes me buy expensive parts. What the fuck is wrong with China parts? It's gotta be. Why does it have to be this? What's the fucking difference? What happened to the good old days when a dude could just plasti dip his bike? No. Powder coat, all the things. My choice? Nope. Yeah, you know what else? Powder coating is not cheap. Lesson learned.
Alright, so I'm working on this, as you can see. I'm doing something Sean doesn't know, which is I'm going to make something for his gauge cluster. I'm not satisfied with the mount I made. I'm very limited on fabrication tools. There's this gap here. I don't like it. Sean was happy with it. I'm very dissatisfied with it, and I figured out a way to resolve it, hopefully. I mean, I did, but how good is it gonna look is the question. So this is the bike as it sits right now. As you can see, no motor in it. We are waiting for a couple parts. As you can see over here, this is messed up. So you can see like it's broken and chunked away. I'll put that in later. So these are the only parts left to install, and then he has to get his exhaust done. So yeah, still gotta wrap this. So what I'm doing here is I am going to make a trim ring. I made the bracket, but I don't really have fab tools here. I don't own many to be able to cut and weld properly. So I'm just gonna make a trim ring that goes like this around, and it will be painted black. I only do as good as the tools that I have necessarily. I'm gonna try and go from here around to here. So if this is black, this should be fine. Ooh, she really crooked, boss. I got an easy resolution for that. But it requires to pull that whole thing off. So that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna make these holes bigger one way and the other, so we have a little bit of play, a little bit of adjustability. So we'll get that done. All right, so that bracket's drying. While it's drying, I'm gonna install the parts. I'm gonna make sure we get this all the parts. So we're gonna replace this, the pins that are in there, and that shaft. Right. Pull that one out. Pull that one out. To put these ones back in. And put this guy back on. Like so. I'm gonna put some Loctite on that. And then we're going to tighten this on. And put in the spindle. On this, you want to lube this. Put this in. This doesn't get any Loctite. This guy is just like a show. We're not going to do the whole thing, we're just going to get part of it. This bad boy. Try and get lots of lubrication on. Ow. We are installed. Just double check the maintenance guide. Something you guys should always download is have a maintenance guide. I like to have it like online. Clutch case, side cover that goes with that. Something you always want to check is there's teeth, right? And there's teeth here. Some people just put stuff together. That's not how you do it. You always double check and make sure everything's perfectly the same. We'll pull our safety zip tie off now that we can put this back together. And so if you're replacing a clutch, same with the clutch pack. So all this kind of goes together as a puzzle. So you always want to make sure that all of these are lined up correctly, that they're not having uneven gap, because the steels and actual pads all need to be the same. And this clutch looks perfect. It doesn't even look like it's ever been used. All right. So we got a little washeroo, and then this has like a spot you need to use a punch to punch, or a flathead of some sort to punch that in the way it's where it's supposed to be. But once you get this tight, you take your handy dandy dead blow. Sean says this is my favorite tool. You want to make sure that you only use this nut a few times. If you're doing a clutch, I would just order the actual nut, just because it, you know, can only be used so many times until it's like the part that gets folded over is worn out. So this all lines up. You just make sure that it all sits flat with the actual clutch. You don't want to over tighten these. Some people are using impact and just going crazy on these. You don't want to use power tools. I use power tools just slightly. So if you do this, and this is the same on just a Grom motor. So I use this just to get them slightly on there, and then to tighten them down. So if this starts to click, then I've done it too much. So I just go on a little bit, and you want to go crisscross as if it was like a wheel on a car. A little bit at a time. Okay, so it's all snug, but we gotta go on with a hand. These are usually right around 8 foot-pounds. I just get them snug. So once it turns, then I grab it, give it another, I would say about 1/8 of a turn. So I get it on so it turns, and then a little bit more. So reason why you don't want to over tighten that is because that basket is made of cast aluminum. If your gasket's good, which this motor literally has 500 miles on it, so it came off without any issues, nothing got no like residue or anything. Another thing when you're disassembling things like this is check before. If you have to, take pictures, but all the bolts are going to be certain lengths for a certain reason. They're going into like different parts of the case. And I think on this it's just 1 bolt or 2 bolts that are long, and that goes through the oil cover. This pin, which goes to right here, there's like an actual like block off. There's nothing in there. So this goes in there. This is a dowel pin. There's a bolt that goes through there. So you pop that in there like so. And then just as we wiped the case, we want to wipe the case cover. And while you're in here, you always want to check your screen. The Grom has this as well, but this looks good, so we're fine. You always want to check this as well. Make sure all this is working properly in its proper spot. This has to be lined up or nothing's gonna go on right, just like that. And once you hear that snap, it's in. So this is the long bolt, it goes right there. Do you want to put Loctite on any of these? No, you do not. Why? Because it's going to come apart at some point down its lifetime. And all these can go on. And if you ever go to assemble a motor and you have some different levels of ones, the thing you want to look at is if this one's like, so if this one goes in here and it's like way up here and you have like an inch gap, that bolt doesn't go in. While we're here, this is in the same spot. So do our oil line. Just gotta make sure it's clean. Sure this is clean. Sure. And you're gonna go crisscross pattern as well. So I start with a long one. Same thing, don't over tighten. But tighten, and then an 8.
I was in a rush when I did my cams. I put my cam chain tensioner in and I used an impact on this. This has like 3 or 4 threads. Whatever you do, don't do that, ever. All right, and that is how you put a shift support shaft in a, shift shaft in a 300 motor. There she is. Put the starter in and be done. This one I'm using as a ground for the motor. I can actually put this on. Now if this was my bike, I'd get powder coated, but Sean is on a limited budget and this is kinda not exactly what he was looking for. And I think I'm actually gonna put these carbon fiber on this. Carbon fiber vinyl tomorrow once it's dry. I think that came out okay. It ain't perfect, but it is a lot better than it was. Now, this is a little bit of a pain in the butt. This all fits together a little tight. And like that, we are installed.
So that ends this episode. Don't forget, we upload episodes every Tuesday and Friday between the hours of 2 and 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time every week. Make sure you're subscribed, click the bell. Also, make sure you give Sean a follow. He's actually working on a few YouTube videos of his own. So his link is always in the description on all of these episodes, and they'll be on the screen at the beginning of the episodes. We do have some other projects coming out with me and him down the road. You want to stay tuned. There's a bunch more episodes on the way, along with a lot of other content.